inviting very, very warmly our session chair, who would be extracting all those inimitable bites from all the discussants and the panelists there. Charu Gupta, partner Deloitte India. We request you to please take the stage. A very, very warm welcome to you, Charu. Thank you very, very much. You already know with that being shown on the screen where your position lies on the stage there. Thank you very, very much. And that's just my little way of looking at you when the time's up, but I know you will stick to the time, Charu. Please allow me to welcome your panel as well. In fact, the leading ones who would join us. Please welcome Sanjay Gupta, the CFO and Head of Finance Shared Services, TIAA Global Capabilities. Sanjay, thank you very much for taking out the time and joining us. Please welcome Prasad Washikar, the EVP, Head of Global Business Ops, Cybage Software. Prasad, thank you very much. Sriram Kannan, founder and CEO, Routematic. Sriram, thank you very much for walking in. Vandana Verma, the head of supply chain facilities, IT, HSC, and legal, Schlumberger, walking up as well. Vandana, thank you. With you walks in a lot of power on the stage. And Charu, on that note, let's get it go. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for this special introduction. Yeah, I have the timer running and we know that we are running late, so I'll try to be the buzzer there. Important topic, just a quick introduction. I am Charu Gupta. I lead the sustainability and climate change practice at Deloitte. I've been doing this for my entire life, 26 years now into this domain only, so I can just do this. Thanks to ET Edge for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this session here. As we know, this session focuses on a very important topic for the GCCs, which is around the future, which is quite central to the future of GCCs now, green, responsible, and resilient, the new GCC mandate. While we know and we have been hearing for maybe now 15 years that organizations are doing a lot of bit around being green, being resilient, being responsible. But the question is what role GCCs need to play, and that's what I think we'll be discussing around what's already happening and what's the potential we have around this. Just a quick start, maybe just giving a background why GCCs are now getting stress on these fronts is we have in India, I think more than 1,600 GCCs. And the market size is now going to be around $110 billion by 2030. This is what we are talking about. This is the scale. So it becomes eminent in two ways for GCCs. One, drive or implement what's the globally the organizations have taken as a mandate at the India GCC. And secondly, and this is where lies the larger opportunity for GCCs, that how they can be an integral part in implementing this sustainability initiatives and be a part and help the organization at large, not only strategically, but also in implementing these initiatives. With that background, I'll just introduce the panelists here. We have Sanjay from TIAA Global Capability Center. He is a CFO and Head of Financial Services. I'll be quick. I have a strong, big introduction, but I'll be quick. We have Prasad from Cybage. We have Sri Kumar from Routematic, and we have finally Vandana from Schlumberger. My first question will go to Sriram, to you. What we have seen traditionally is that employee commute typically leads to a lot of emissions. And if we talk about statistics, these are normally in the range of 20 to 30% of the scope 3 emissions. Can you please share how Routematic is innovatively helping companies and also GCCs with the innovative business models in managing and reducing these emissions?
Yeah, so traditionally, transportation has been run as an in-house activity for quite a long time, till we came into the market about 10, 15 years ago. And even now, if you see, there are activities like there is a software tool. It's running very much like the data centers of the previous days migrating to cloud, right? So we are also looking at some sort of a transformation now where there is a holistic package. Just use the app, and the operational hassle will be handed over to a single managed services partner. So that's basically the transformation that's happening. And we are also looking at the next level of maturity where the volumes across the city are going to be syndicated onto one platform and managed from there, especially in the context of ESG initiatives, because running EVs by itself would necessarily mean that there is a common infrastructure that is set, because it's not possible for corporates to run their own, or even a single vendor to be running their own infra and so on. So there is a lot of innovation that is going on at the moment, both in terms of the pooling transport and efficiently using the least number of vehicles to run the show, as well as from a ESG angle as well, right? So there is a lot of, we have the distinction, we have the distinct positioning as somewhere in the middle of the demand side, where there are requirements on transportation and ESG initiatives, and on the other side, the entire ecosystem of fleet vendors, drivers, the charging point operators, and so on. So there is a lot of value to be delivered, looking ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Quite interesting, and I am really impressed with the way you are helping. And typically, what and the next question will flow from that is, typically these things come from the leadership. And my next question is to you, Sanjay. How at TIAA the leadership and the middle management is imbibing these sustainability initiatives with the employees at large?
Yeah, I think this is a great initiative. And as I give the background about the TIA, we manage around a $1.5 trillion, and our executive body of the organization is focusing on responsible investments. Number one, and number two is all our offices, how we can have the sustainable operations, which means basically we have the sustainable action group and globally, and I'm the India lead, and basically we drive the sustainability in everything we operate. We have the furnitures which is made of the recycled material. The water consumption is completely recycled. The energy which use is green energy, even though it's slightly more expensive, but still basically being a responsible company, we think it is appropriate to use the green power. And the waste management is done very, very responsibly. With the employees, the goodies or the gifts which we give to the employees are all from recycled material. And maybe in a year, we basically distribute almost 20,000 t-shirts or something, other things, and they are all made from the recycled materials. We bend the water bottles made from the plastic material and use the glass bottles. So, and it is about the continuous education, continuous awareness to the employees. And every month we organize a talk at a global level among all our employees to basically focus on sustainability and basically being a responsible citizen.
Yeah, I think that's quite insightful, and lot of efforts going on, and it cannot happen without a dedicated team, and then again the push from the leadership. And what I heard from you, it's not only sticking to some departments, it's across the organization that you are doing. And with that thing, I will come to you, Vandana, for the next question. And as you are leading supply chain infrastructure and health safety at Schlumberger, these supply chain and infrastructure are also quite critical to any organization. They cut across. So how do you see the sustainability levers around supply chain and infrastructure being an integral part, and how do you see them getting implemented through the leadership?
Thank you for that question. In fact, the role which I am in gives me that leverage to help and support SLB to meet that bigger organizational goals. Now, when I say that, usually the support function, be it supply chain, facilities, HSC, legal, are usually, if you see in a fraction, they are like a denominator to a fraction, right? And what we are trying to do is, being a denominator to the fraction, we are trying to ensure that we become that strong denominator which helps the numerator to perform. Now, what I mean by this is, so there are 17 sustainability goals. Out of these 17, SLB has ensured that we have 3 key priorities, which is people, nature, and climate. Now, we are trying to focus on these fronts, and how do we tag it with the support function is, when we talk about supply chain, it is no more about cost, or it is no more about what is the lowest bidder. We also have factors like what is the emission, what is the supplier diversity we are getting into, what is the kind of initiatives the supplier is getting into. So this is one of the things that we have included when we call about supply chain, or when in facilities, when we say how the entire infrastructure, as how Sanjay was mentioning, is how can we have more operational efficiencies to reduce the emission. I'll just take a minute to give few examples, right? Something like green energy. We all are on green energy, 100% green energy, no emissions, and we all are so proud about it. That's one. The another important factor is people in sustainability, right? People is something that I think SLB resonates very well with, because people is our core value. We have 3 values: people, performance, and technology. And we are really passionate for people. When it comes to people, it is not just people within the organization. We also ensure that people and everyone around us, including our vendor partners, are something that we pass the goal to. So when we talk about people, what we wanted to do is do something more with the people, with the vendor partners. Now, a brief, kind of an initiative, what we did was, we ensure that our facility vendor partner, we tied up with them. And what we did was, we wanted to ensure that we have a diversity, something that we can do in the sustainability front from people. So something that what India is, I would say, we do embrace our LGBTQ community, but in some parts of India, for the better lack of word, I'll say it's work in progress, right? So what we wanted to do is bring a change within the workplace, get into the trainings, get into the meetings, get into one-on-ones, open the mind of people. And what we did was, now we have almost 10% of our workforce which comes from them, which is LGBTQ community. And they don't only come, they smile, they flourish, they have a career within, which helps them to understand that they can celebrate their authenticity. And this is what we are trying to in people front. Now, coming, if I have to sum up all how GCC helps us, so what we are trying to do is, we are trying to make an impact on our bigger goals, and we are just not executing it. I would say we are trying to lead it from the front.
That's wonderful, Vandana. And I at Deloitte also, we do work quite a lot on DI. Maybe offline we can connect and share some insights. But yes, what we are seeing, the trend is the green part, responsible part. It's not only within the boundaries of the organization now, it's going beyond that. And that's why the suppliers, everything, even the mobility part, which also is outside your organization, organizations are taking it seriously. Prasad, my next question comes to you is, while we have seen so many initiatives being taken across organizations, how does technology take a role around that and makes things easy for organizations, and specifically for GCCs India? Anything that you are doing in particular?
Thank you very much. Yes, definitely. Technology, I feel, is pivotal when it comes to the ESG practices or ESG principles, which are basically an integral part of GCC ecosystem. Now, what we look at it from a Cybage standpoint is that, okay, we definitely feel that, okay, all the technology pillars are going to be not only enablers, but more as accelerators. Now, how they are going to help us? 3 things which I typically look at it. One is how the technology is giving the access to the information, because as Sanjay mentioned, that okay, a lot of initiatives are happening. Now, if Cybage as an organization which is more than 7,000 plus people across global cities, 13 centers. Now, how do we get the access to the entire information? That is one of the massive data. Now, this information, if we are getting a granular data point of that information, then we will be able to get some focused impacts and focused initiatives, which are going to drive the GCCs more impactful and meaningful. So that is the foundation of first part of it when it comes to the environmental data, be it green emissions or any kind of carbon combustion or whatever that can do. Then the second comes, which is more important, is from a sustainability governance compliance. Now, those statutory audits or regulation compliance are always there, no doubt about it, but those are ever evolving. As we were 50 years back, what was the carbon emission compared, what is now, how it is going to change up and all. So that is where there will be a difference in that. Now with the technology, we can have the access to that at a fingertips. Now that is very important for global centers who are monitoring, like the CXOs or the decision makers, which are kind of continuously looking at the dashboards. They are going to look at it and how we are compliant. And we are practicing from ourselves also, and then we are working with GCCs so that that is a part of the ecosystem when we are co-creating this whole phenomenon. And then third is the social impact. Now imagine or think about a digital platform which is basically inclusive of workforce, well-being of employment, the programs which are happening. Like what Vandana mentioned, the inclusivity is more important right now. Now, what we have seen, the statistics or the research which tells that, okay, if such kind of a digital platforms are integrated in the current hybrid world, which is co-location, work from home, remote working facilities and all, this inclusivity, diversification helps in making sure that, okay, how we are increasing the productivity. Now that is helping us directly in the retention, attritions part of it and all, and then the motivation of employees. So that is directly helping us from a green planet point of view. So these are the three areas. Now, if we have to look at one of the cities or one of a center, it is easy. But how we have to scale it up? If we have to scale it up, then we need to work out on the cloud part of it. There is a platform which we can bring in from an inclusivity part of it. Now, these three parts, if we have to combine, that is the strategy which we are always playing with our GCC partners or enterprises across globe, where we feel that, okay, it is a backbone. The technology is always the backbone, which we have to implement for more of a data access to the CXOs or the teams, the sustainability or the governance from the regulation part of it, and third is more important from a social, so that the employees or the people, planet, what we are working on is always greener and resilient. That's how I look at it.
Thanks. Great insights, Prasad, on this. And yes, while there's compliance market, I just saw that the minutes has been reduced by almost 10. There were 13 and now 3. Sorry. Yes, compliance was definitely a requirement, but now what we are seeing is there are increased number of stakeholders, not only the investors, but customers also are very much want to look on the progress on sustainability. So, and that's where I think the role of technology in managing the data comes into. Sanjay, my next question is to you is, being in the financial sector, I think, which is heavily regulated also, what meaningful steps can you have been taken around so that makes the operations not only compliant but also responsible, while also taking into account the long-term impacts, the viability of those?
Well, I think this is a great question. And when we look at it from the long-term perspective, we announced that by 2040, 50% of our portfolio will be net zero carbon. And by 2050 will be zero net carbon, 100% of portfolio will be net zero carbon. We manage almost 1.5 trillion US dollar funds. And at this point in time, 91 billion of our portfolio is net zero carbon. So how basically we transition this big money, which is net neutral, at the same time making sure the yield for our customers or the returns ROI is not falling. That is not acceptable. So we have 4 pillars and where we are working on it. One is our employees, 16,000 employees globally. How we can create education awareness and change their behavior and culture. So how they are operating within the office environment and outside the office environment to bring a lot more sustainability. The second thing is our customers, which is the 6,000 universities are our customers, 5 million participants. And those are more demanding, saying basically we want to be more sustainable. Apart from that, the money which we provide to our university companies, which is globally real estate in the maybe Australia or the London or maybe Europe or maybe Mexico, right? How we basically manage those real estate with the more efficiently, so that basically we do not consume too much water or too much fossil fuel. And this is a big challenge. And That is where the regulations, matrices, the strategies, the leadership vision, etc., comes in. And to make it our portfolio more sustainable, the money is going towards more greener. And basically the money is not going to be available for the fossil fuel in the future, but it will be a more renewable energies. Money will not be available for the arms and ammunitions, but maybe more ethical businesses. And that's where we are working towards it. And we started this journey 30 years back. So this is like a very long vision. And we think we can make it happen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jeff, for that. I think why the timer got reduced by 10 minutes on its own, I don't know. Maybe we should be getting 10 minutes. We
This
have
may be a technology bug. We can ignore
yeah,
it.
or AI, what we were talking
Permission.
about, the AI thing. It's
Data
just-
feed is not right.
So maybe I'll be very quick, and possibly then while Prasad, you have already spoken a lot about data, and data is really crucial. Maybe I'll skip the question to Vandana for that. That considering the vast operations Schlumberger has and supply chain becomes very even vaster, that how are you able to manage that data and then present it to the leadership, not only for tracking, but also the strategic decisions that to be taken around that?
Sure. I'll be quick. I have the timer there. So just to, kind of give you a brief. So what actually happens is everything is driven out of data, for sure. So what we are doing is we are building systems on our existing technologies so that we leverage our investments. Now, with these technology or this system, what is happening is we automatically collect the data. And then this data helps us with many decisions that the leadership is supposed to take. Now, if I have to really break it down into three, is very simple. How do you measure it? How do you plan it? And how do you act upon it? So when we talk about this, the measure is something that the data is getting collected. How do you plan is, so the system helps you to give certain scenarios. There will be multiple scenarios that will help you to understand your emission versus your financial targets. And then these scenarios will be further evaluated in terms of understanding how you will meet your emission targets or how you will meet your project targets, basically with the project mix or the technology mix that you have. I will not complicate it further, and then it comes up to the fact that on to act. Now, as a GCC, what we definitely do is we not only provide them insights or data or tools or dashboards to our leadership to understand where or what decision needs to be taken, but we also ensure that we accelerate the decision. How do we accelerate the decision is to also to let them know where exactly the priority lies with terms of the data that we have already received from various geographies and operations, and then focus on those pillars or divisions where the emissions are to be highlighted and then to be reduced or mitigated. And this is what we are trying to do at GCC.
I'm so sorry. We will have to start with the next session, but I'm sure our audience would engage in conversation with you off stage. I'm really grateful for being really, really considerate this panel, for the insights and also being really impactful at the same time. May I request you all to please rise for a group photograph as well. I'm genuinely thankful, grateful at the same time, and also I wish we had more time to have all the discussion live from the stage, but that's all for now. I'm sure during the networking hours, audience, please do engage in conversation with our very giving panelists, I must say, in terms of perspectives, sharing their experience around this topic, really. Let's give them a big hand once again.